If you give me the next 10 minutes of your time, I'm going to give you the no BS real process of becoming a profitable trader. You see, most traders are looking for that holy grail trading indicator or secret trading system or secret strategy or some other shortcut that's going to help them achieve profitability. But I'm here to tell you that doesn't exist. And before I go into how real people are achieving profitability in 2026, I want to give you a quick little introduction. My name is Emmanuel. I've been a full-time day trader for almost 6 years. I made just shy of $500,000 in 2025 day trading stocks, and I have coached thousands of traders and helped them become consistently profitable. In fact, I have over 60,000 students in my free 10 plus hour course, and the patterns between which traders actually become profitable and which traders stay stuck for years are clear as day. So if you give me the next 10 minutes of your time, I'm going to explain how real people are becoming profitable traders in 2026, and hopefully you can begin implementing every single one of these principles within your own trading plan, literally starting immediately. So let's put a 10-minute shot clock on the screen and let's get started. Ultimately, you don't get paid as a trader for the amount of time that you spend in the markets. You don't get paid for the amount of trades that you take. You get paid for, number one, your ability to execute your trading plan. Number two, your ability to manage your risk. And number three, your ability to control your emotions. If you can master those three things as a trader, you will become profitable. So let's talk about execution first. And the biggest mistake that I see beginner traders make is that they overcomplicate everything in their trading. They think that the more complex their trading system is, the more profitable they will become. But that could not be farther from the truth. And what these traders do is that they use way too many indicators. They're constantly bouncing from strategy to strategy, and they're looking for that holy grail hidden system that no one knows about that's going to help them, become profitable traders. But none of these things are going to make you profitable. In fact, your ultimate edge as a trader is simplicity. You want a system that's intuitive, that's simple, and that is repeatable. And you want your trading plan to be systematic, where you're walking into the market every single day with a game plan. You know exactly which setups you're going to trade. You know how to decipher between high quality setups and low quality setups. You know how to determine the bias on those setups, and you know where you're going to be entering, where you're going to be exiting. You know how you're going to be managing the position when you're actually in the trade, like where to take profits. And most importantly, you know exactly how much you're going to lose if the trade hits your stop loss. And you need to know that before you take the trade in the first place. And you'll know how to limit your losses in case the trade doesn't work. Because guess what? Losing is inevitable in trading. You have to develop that risk manager type of mindset. And before I go a little bit more in depth about execution, really the first step towards becoming a profitable trader is mindset. Instead of thinking about the money, you should be concerned with how you can become an elite level trader. And if you do become that elite level trader, the money will come inevitably. So stop treating this like it's a get rich quick scheme, because it is not. Stop focusing on the money. Focus on the process. And the first step of that is to build your foundation. You can't execute your trading plan if you don't have a foundation behind it. You need a backbone behind your trading, and you want to keep this as simple as possible. You don't want complexities, right? So stick to one methodology. Don't bounce around from strategy to strategy. Stick to one thing and keep it simple. You should only be using 1 to 3 indicators max. For me personally, I use the 20 SMA, I use the 200 SMA, and I use the 9 EMA. So I use a few moving averages. That is it. I keep it simple. I don't use MACD or Bollinger Bands or RSI or Fibonacci or stochastics or any of these other fancy indicators that you might find on your trading platform. I use a couple of moving averages. That's it. I only trade 1 to 2 setups. I will trade a breakout. Okay, I'll find an uptrend or a clear bullish stock. I'll find a stock that has a bullish catalyst, and I'll trade the continuation of that bullish catalyst or uptrend via a breakout. Where prices move up, they consolidate, and I'll look for a breakout to trade the continuation of the trend. Or I'll trade the continuation of a trend via a retracement, where prices move up, they retrace, and I'll find a buy the dip opportunity to go long. Now, these setups are very, very simple. However, there are nuances. There are very specific criteria that I look for that separates a high quality setup from a low quality setup. And that's the way that I like to do things. I like to keep it simple, but it's nuanced, where I do look for very specific criteria, but overall, I want to keep my strategy simple. And you need a foundation. Like if you look at a skyscraper, all of the engineers, the architects, right? They spent the most amount of time in the beginning building the foundation so 5 to 10 years later, the building doesn't collapse. Well, if you want to become a long-term profitable trader, you need to focus on this foundation. You have to understand what is your edge. What is your mindset, right? Do you have that professional mindset? What price action principles are you focusing on? Do you have rules? What's your trade management? What's your risk and what's your risk management? And if you need help building this foundation and you don't have a system behind your trading, I would just watch my free 10+ hour trading course. It is genuinely better than most paid courses on the internet. It's going to help you actually build this foundation and system. Next, once you have that foundation, it's time to begin trading. And I recommend transitioning to real capital sooner rather than later. So I would paper trade for 1 to 3 weeks. I would become accustomed with your platform, understand what the buttons do, understand how to place orders, but I would switch to real money sooner rather than later. I have met a ton of paper traders that make hundreds of thousands of dollars with paper money, but then as soon as they transition towards trading with real capital, they can't make any money at all. Because with real trading, you have real risk, you have real emotions. There's actually money on the line, and you're going to trade completely differently because it's real and you need that real experience. So I would transition to real money sooner, but start with small size, okay? Start with $1 risk per trade, $5 risk per trade. And what I would do is go into it mentally knowing that you might lose a little bit of money in the beginning, and you want to allow yourself to lose a little bit of money, where if you lose $200 or $500 or $1,000, of course, that's going to depend what size you're trading with, but you could think of that as your tuition, because as a beginner trader, you're not going to have only winning trades. You're going to have losing trades as you're experimenting, as you're figuring things out, as you're testing, right? Don't aim for perfection. It's okay to take a bunch of trades. It's okay to experiment. That's how you figure out what your trading style is. And every losing trade that you take, as long as you're doing it on small size, long term is actually a winning trade because you're going to be learning from them. Okay, those losers, it's kind of like tuition that you're going to be paying for you to become better. So transition to real capital sooner. However, use very small risk and make sure you're comfortable with losing a little bit of money in the beginning. That's your tuition for actually getting better. And yeah, don't paper trade for longer than a month, I would say. Number 3, risk management is everything. As a trader, you are a risk manager. Your first goal is to preserve the capital in your account. Your second goal is to grow that capital. And you have to understand that it doesn't matter how good you are, losing is inevitable. In fact, what makes a really good trader a good trader is their ability to lose, their actions after they lose. Are they going to revenge trade? Are they going to trade out of emotion? Are they going to change up their trading plan just because they had 2 losses in a row, right? Losing is inevitable. However, you can control the amount that you lose. You have the ability to size your positions the right way. You can exit when the trade hits your stop loss, right? Those are decisions that you can make, right? You have the ability to control the amount you lose. The question is, are you going to be disciplined enough to actually do it, to actually cut the trade when you're supposed to cut it, right? Position sizing is king. When I enter any single trade, I know exactly where my entry is, where my stop loss is, and I size my position for my entry and stop. And I know exactly how much I'm risking before I take the trade. I accept the outcome that the trade might not work out, and I accept that outcome before I take it in the first place. I know losing can happen, and I'm a really, really good loser, right? In trading, it's not about not losing, it's about becoming an excellent loser and limiting your losses. You have to have that mindset. Number 4, to kind of sum it all up, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And this solidifies the idea of you don't need more knowledge. You don't need more indicators or more strategies or more systems. Keep it simple and focus on one setup, one system. And the way that you're going to be doing that is through PAIR. Prepare, execute, analyze, refine. Learn the foundation and prepare your initial trading plan. Your initial trading plan isn't going to be very good, and that's okay, but you're going to execute it, and then you're going to analyze. You're going to journal, what were your winning trades? What were your losing trades? What obvious mistakes did you make? What trade management is working for you? Are you losing more money than you want to lose on your losing trades? Or are you not making enough on your winners? What's your psychological state during every single trade that you take? You want to journal every little bit, every little part about your trading, and from there, you can analyze it. And by analyzing it, you can identify what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And from there, you can refine your plan. And once you refine your plan, you're essentially re-preparing it. And once you re-prepare it, you execute it again, you analyze, and then you refine. And after like 3 to 4 iterations of this, how can you not improve? You will 100% improve if you do this. If you do prepare your plan, execute it, analyze what went right, what went wrong, eliminate mistakes, refine, and then do it again. And over time, your improvements, day to day, week to week, month to month, are going to compound until you finally break through and actually achieve profitability. Treat trading like it's an actual profession, like it's a real career path for you, and focus on the process. And if you focus on the process, you focus on keeping it simple, you focus on becoming a better trader every single day, you focus on risk management, you focus on that foundation behind your trading, and if you do that every single day, you will 100% improve until those improvements will compound and you will actually become profitable. And if you need help throughout this entire process, I do personally help scale and coach traders from zero to consistently profitable, where I take my students under my wing and they learn how to trade by actually doing it with me on a daily basis, and they honestly see life-changing results. So if you are someone who's a little bit more serious, you want a hands-on mentor, you could book a free consultation call directly below this video in the description as well. And make sure you check out my free 10+ hour course. Watch it. It will build you that foundation. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one.